guys know how many times I get asked about Merab? And I must tell you, every time it feels like a work. Like, the life that Merab lives feels fake. That dude, particularly in the last 2 years, but he has had experiences that humans just don't get to have. I mean, come out and play in Sphere. You've got to understand, there was no favors done for Merab because Merab wasn't willing to go all the way. This is a part of his story that's longly already been forgotten, but it's very important because Merab beat 9 men in a row. I believe the O'Malley fight was to represent 10. And I say that because you could always be off somewhere. He beat 10 guys in a row. And the O'Malley fight was... But I'm pretty good at this. I believe he had beaten 9 men in a row. Of those 9 men, Peter Yan was on the list. Henry Cejudo was on the list. Jose Aldo was on the list. But Merab couldn't get that favor. He couldn't get that push. Because Merab was not willing, regardless of all these victories, regardless of however impressive, and think of how hard he would have had to work and train and sacrifice and dedicate just to get those victories. But he wasn't willing to go because one of his best friends, his teammate, his partner, Aljamain Sterling, had the top spot. And Merab was not willing to sacrifice that relationship. So he just kept beating guys. And it was almost as though there was a game being played on the other side of, we'll get him beat. Because one fight was harder than the next, to the point that they were running out of hard fights. Like this game of, okay, we'll just keep putting Merab in there. He can only do this so many times. He's the number 1 contender against Aljo. He doesn't want to fight Aljo. So what we'll do is we'll just make it so he's no longer the number 1 contender, right? But it was like there was a psychology like that. He's still winning fights. Okay. So he finds himself, this is Merab that wins 9 in a row. This is Merab that can't get an opportunity. Merab doesn't do anything different, but the division becomes different. And Aljo not only came off the top, Aljo left the division. Now, I feel like when this story gets told, it gets appreciated because of that friendship. We don't get to see a lot of that. That was just a cool move to see those guys not let fame, not let money, not let opportunity come in the way of their relationship. It was cool to see. But I do feel the way the story got told largely was because of the sacrifices of Merab. And that is 100% true for 50% of the story. It's 100% true for half the story because the other half was Aljo. Aljo going up to 145 pounds is not just about his pursuit of a different belt or him not wanting to pull the weight. I'll take that, son. Thank you, buddy. Thank you very much for doing that. It was also about getting the hell out of the way. Doing for Merab what Merab had just done for him. Get the hell out of the way. And that part has never been told. I feel that Aljo got a very bad rap from day one in his championship reign. I mean, I remember the day there was a foul. We only have 2 things, guys. Don't touch the guy's eyeballs and don't kick the son of a bitch when he's down. That's it. So I bring that to you because one of those 2 violations happened, which was remedied by one of the great referees that we have, right? One of the great men of our sport is refereeing this match. And he calls him. Says, you can't do that. And he says, there's a remedy. We may not like it, but the remedy is disqualification. And disqualification comes with a consequence. And the consequence in a title fight is the title can change hands. And I should reword that. In the event that the remedy is disqualification and there's a title, the title must change hands. So I remember when those headlines came out, and they weren't right towards Aljo. They just weren't. He did nothing wrong. And then he even comes in and he remedies that by getting another clean victory. So you get to the Merab era. So Merab goes from 9 guys in a row, 3 of which off the top of my head, were world champions. History says beat a world champion, fight for a world championship. He beat 3 before he could finally get in there. But when Merab did get in there, I mean, you talk about those favors, or you talk about the push, whatever word I'm trying to find right now. He got it all the way. I mean, they announced him, you will fight the winner of this fight. It was Chito Vera versus Sean. You will get this opportunity, no matter what happens in this match. That's huge. That's very hard to get. They then took him to Sphere, opposite the biggest draw in all of MMA. Like, what part of that story I just told sounds right to you? There is no other story. There's really not. There is really no other story of highs and lows. Merab's not done. After all these great things I just told you, they bring him to his last fight. He's a co-main event. Now, I love Manny Moicano as much as the next guy. But Merab opened prior to Manny Moicano. Manny Moicano walked after Merab. And then he comes right back. But that was really the one that made it. That was really the one that made it. The Sphere fight, that was made by O'Malley. The victory just happened. The one that made, I was there. I was there in person. I can just tell you that building in California, when Merab started showboating, but when he started to out-condition and ultimately out-wrestle Umar Nurmagomedov, it was a shift. I mean, the building was just a microcosm of the larger picture. Whatever the building does, whatever reaction you get in that building, consider that your focus group. And then just understand however many more times that building represents to get around the world is where you're at. And now you've got Merab right back in there with the biggest draw in the sport. But all of a sudden, he can hold up his end of the bargain. And generally, I would tell you, supposedly or allegedly, he's hurt or even broken his toe. Generally, if it was any other athlete, I would dismiss this. But it's Merab. This always happens to him. And he never looks for sympathy, and he never looks for a way out. Now, he needs to get better at revealing his injury reports to the public. He needs to get better. Merab does not owe us, the public, an accurate injury report. That can be a conversation for another day. The fact that he has the type of injury that would get him out of having to contest his belt. I mean, don't forget, a champion, they all have the same obligation, which is keep the belt long as you can, doing as little as possible. You can all come down on Jon Jones all you want right now. Go ahead. But Tom Aspinall just set a record. Are you aware that Tom Aspinall just set a record for days as interim champion? Don't bring in, well, he never fought and he didn't represent the belt. That's not how that stat works. You wouldn't be wrong to bring that up, but that's not how that stat works. Jon Jones, same situation. I'm just sharing for you. Merab found his way out of the O'Malley fight if he wants it. Merab apparently doesn't want out of the O'Malley fight.